Hello, everybody. Start of another week. Let's continue with section 6.2, chapter 6, section 2. Lesson is online. Just to note that we'll be break this lesson into two different parts, so you have two separate homeworks. Okay, so the first page and first question will be today, and then the last question will be later in the week. All right, measures and spreads. Okay, so this lesson is going to be mostly new information for you guys, so please keep close attention, and this will be important for the rest of the chapter and moving into chapter 7. Okay, measures of spread. So we have something called percentile. The percent of all the data that are less than or equal to a specific value. So I'd actually have an example of what percentile is. If any of you have taken a math contest before, they'll give you a percentile rank. So they'll tell you you're in the 80th percentile. So that means that your mark is better than 80% of people. I just had one of my cousins on the weekend saying they're expecting a child, and their child was in the 99th percentile. So what that meant was their child was larger. If there was 100 babies, their child was bigger than 99 of 100 babies. Okay, so we're going to show some examples with this. Okay, so just again, you'll see this with math contests. So they'll give you a percentile rank. They also do this for children. So when the unborn baby, they'll measure the lengths and do a whole bunch of measurements on the baby, and they'll tell you how large or small your child is, and they'll give you a rank to it. So it might be a big baby, an average, or small. Okay, so the formula for this one is P equals, in brackets, L plus 0.5 E all over N. And then we multiply that by 100. Just 1 second. Okay, this formula I'm giving you is slightly different than the one in the textbook. I believe that this one is easier to use, so I'll be using this one. Okay, I believe the textbook has the 100 in the front, and they might have different letters. Okay, so the L represents lower than. So it's going to be all the values that are lower than the one you're looking at. Okay, E represents values that are equal to. So are any values the same as the one you're looking at? Okay, N represents total numbers or entries. Okay, and then times by 100 because we want a percentage. Okay. Just a little start here, because sometimes it gets confusing between percentile and percentile rank, because sometimes the textbook leaves out the word rank. So they'll say calculate the percentile, and then you have to try to figure out which formula to use. So what happens is here, if they give you scores, so scores, I don't want to spell scores. So scores are given. And I'll show you that with an example. Okay, so scores are given. Okay, we're here. Okay, they'll be giving you a percent. So a percent is given. Okay, so this is percentile, and then percentile rank is this, or your ranking. Okay, and it's a simple one. It's R equals N times P. Okay, so N times B, N still the same total numbers, and P is the percent. Okay, and this was the same formula that we used last chapter when we did expectations. It was this N times P. Okay, so very big note here. It might get a little bit confusing, and I'll show you with the example. So if R, a percentile rank, is a whole number, What we're going to do is take the average of that answer and the answer that is one higher. So we're going to average out the rank plus the rank and plus 1. So that one plus 1 higher. And what we're going to do is average them out. And I'll show you with an example. If R is a decimal, we don't have to do this rank with this average. All we do is round it up. So say our answer is 11.7, we round up to 12. If our answer was 11.1, we still round up. Okay, so we round up always. Okay, whole number, we're going to average two values together. Decimal, just round up. Okay. All right. Okay, box whisker plot. Okay, so this is brand new. It's not very difficult. What we're going to do is draw a box and then whiskers on it. And it's going to look a little bit weird. So the box whisker plot has a couple things. It has something called the first quartile, the median, the third quartile. Okay, these three things will make the box. Okay, so this will be the makes the box. And then we're going to also have the whiskers, which are the least value data and the greatest data. So the smallest value and the greatest value. Okay, and these will be the whiskers. So this is what it's going to look like. I'll just make just an example of, say I had a number line from 1 to 100. So I was looking at percentage. So this would be 50, 75, 25. Okay, so our box, so we could have our median, say our median in our class was say about 68. Then I'll show you how to find first quartile and third quartile, but it's going to be the ends of the box. And what we do is we draw 3 lines. So these are 3 lines. 3 lines. And then the least and greatest are 2 points. Okay, so 3 lines. And then we'll say our highest mark is 98. And our lowest value is say like 47 or something. Okay, so what we do is we connect the lines together to create a box. And then we're going to draw another line to connect the dot, which is going to be our whisker. And we do 1 to the right and then 1 to our left, to our least value. Okay, so we're going to find 3 lines. First quartile, median, third quartile, our least lowest value, our highest value, and then we're going to draw 4 horizontal lines. So 2 that connect the lines together, and then 2 that connect the whiskers or the dots together. Okay, so what are the first quartile and third quartile? The first quartile is, it's going to sound weird. It's the median of the median and lowest value. So it's the middle value between the middle value and the lowest value. And I'll show you the example. The third quartile is the median as well, but of the median and the highest value. Okay, so what that means is the first quartile is the between the median and the lowest value. Okay, so that's the first quartile. So it's the median of these two values. Okay, and then the third quartile is the median of the median and the highest value. So it's the middle number between these two values. I'll show you how to calculate them in Wednesday's lesson. Okay, so here is our Q1, first quartile. This is our median. This is our Q3, which is the third quartile. This is our highest value. And this is our lowest value. Okay, we don't have numbers that we're looking at, so I'm just kind of just made this up right now. But again, I'll show you the examples. Okay, so then we have outlier. So in last lesson, we talked about outlier. So it's just something that doesn't follow the trend of the data. So it's something that doesn't really hold true. It's a weird result. So from the other lesson, so we had an outlier as a point or as a bar in a graph. Okay, but we could actually calculate to see if something has an outlier. Okay, so we can actually see if it doesn't follow the trend. And to do that, we have a formula here. I will show you this in an example. So it's your Q1 minus 1.5 times our IQR. And I'll talk to you about what an IQR is in one of the examples. Oh, actually, it's over here. And then our outlier is, so it's lower than this value or higher than this value here. So less than whatever value this is and greater than whatever this value is. And I'll show you with the example. Okay, the range is the difference between the highest and lowest values. That just tells you how far apart the highest and lowest values are. So what we do with the difference, we subtract the highest and lowest values. That gives us the range. And then we have something called here IQR, which is our interquartile range. And all we do is we subtract the third and first quartiles. Okay, a lot of information here. It looks a little bit confusing because it's brand new, but it's not that difficult. Okay, going on to example 1. Okay, so we're gonna focus on the percentiles for the first example. Okay, so number 1 says calculate the 75th or 95th percentile. Okay, so going back, so this says percentile. So I don't know if I'm doing percentile or percentile rank because they both say percentile here in both of these questions. So we have to determine. So if we're given scores, then we're going to use this one. If they're giving us a percent, then we're going to use this formula here. So what does it give us? 75th and 95th percentile. That's a percentage. These are percentages. So percents. Oh boy. So percents. Okay, so that means we are going to do the R. So R equals N times P. So it's 75, and then we'll do 95. R equals N times P. Okay, so N represents our total number. So these are values here. So N represents the number of entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 entries. Okay, and we're looking for the percentage, which is 75%. So 12 times 0.75. Okay, so when you multiply that together, you get a value of 9. Actually, what I should have done before that is put them in order. Put in order. So I'm gonna go back to my pink. I'm gonna put these in order, okay? Because we're gonna have to do median and stuff. Okay, let's put these in order from least to greatest. So first one is 5, then we have 8, 5, 8, 9, then 1, 2, 3 11s, 1, 2, 3 11s, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 16, 17, 18, 19, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I put them in order. So this was the class set of marks on a quiz. Okay, so I'll tell you why. So right now they said our 75th percentile is a rank of number 9. So it's a rank 9 out of 12. Okay, but the R represents the ninth lowest. So this is the ninth lowest mark. Okay, so that R means you're the ninth lowest. Okay, so going back here, it says if R is a whole number, we're going to take the average of R and 1 above it. Okay, so we're going to take the value of R, which is 9, and add 1 above it. So we're going to take the ninth lowest number and our 10th lowest number, and then average it. So then we're going to divide it by 2. So our ninth lowest and 1 higher than that, which will be our 10th lowest. So we go back to our numbers. So we're going to go ninth lowest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 16 is our lowest value. So 16 plus our 10th lowest. So it'd be number 17. 17, and then we divide by 2. So 33 divided by 2 is 16 and a half. Okay, so what this means is 75% of marks are below 16.5. Okay, so in the class set of data, 75% of marks are below 16.5. Or what you could say is the 75th percentile is 16.5. Okay, so again, we calculate R, which is n times P, so 12 times 0.75 gives us 9. So 75th percentile is the ninth lowest mark. Okay, so since it's a whole number, we take that rank plus 1 higher. So we took the ninth ranked and 10th rank. So going here, our ninth lowest and 10th lowest are 16 and 17. We add them together, divide by 2, gives us 16 and a half. Okay, next one. 95th percentile. So now it's 12 times 0.95. That gives you an answer 11.4. Okay, so going back to our definition here, if R is a decimal, we round up. So right now our R value is a decimal, so we round up to 12. So we're looking at the 12th spot. Okay, so what is our 12th spot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is 19. Our 12th spot is 19. So what that means is a score of 19 is in the 95th percentile. Sorry, let me just make it like the other ones. The 95th percentile is 19. Okay? Or you could say 95% of marks. So 95% of marks are below 19. Okay, in this case, it's actually all of them. But since we're just calculating for 95th, the 95th percentile is 19, or 95% of marks are below 19. Okay, so I kind of have to erase this. You guys could just pause when you need to. It's a video. I'm just going to erase this so I have room for the next one. Okay. What is the mark? So B, what is the percentile? What percentile is a mark of 14 and 11? Okay. So here we're given an actual score. So this is a score. Score is given. We use this value here. We use this formula here. Okay. So P equals L plus 0.5 E divided by N times 100. Okay, so L, I said it represents the numbers, how many entries are lower than the one we're looking at. So we're looking at 14. Okay, so how many marks are below 14? So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 marks or entries that are below 14. Then we add 0.5 times E. E represents how many values are actually 14 or equal to 14. So in this case, we only have 1 14. So we're going to multiply it by 1. And then divided by total number entries, which is 12. And then times by 100. If you do this, 7.5 over 12 times 100, which is 63%. Okay, so what that means is 14 is in the 63rd percentile. So 14, the mark of 14 is better than 63%, 63% of results. Okay, so a mark of 14 is in the 63rd percentile. Again, meaning that a mark of 14 is better than 63% of results. Okay, and now our last one here is for 11. Okay, so L first. So L, how many values are lower than 11? So we have 3 11s here, but what's lower? 1, 2, 3 of them. So 3 values less than 11. And then add 0.5 times E. So E means how many are 11. So how many entries do we have 11 or equal to 11? Well, we have 3 of them. So we multiply this by 3, and then the total number is 12. So we get 4.5 over 12 times 100, and that gives us 38%. So what that means is a mark of 11 is better than 38% of better than 38% of results. Okay, so, or you say that a mark of 11 is in the 38th percentile. Okay, that concludes half of today's lesson. Okay, we'll continue this one later in the week.